guys, my name is Augustine from DFO, also known as Debatable Football Opinions on Instagram, and we're back with another prediction video. This time, the World Cup 2022 group stage prediction video. Let's get it started. Right, so before we start, I just want to let you know that this is my own personal opinion and my own personal predictions. I know people are bound to get riled up about their nations, so if by any chance I knock out your nation in the group stage, keep in mind this is only a prediction. It's not bound to happen. You're always free to let me know in the comments whether you agree or disagree with me. And actually, now that I bring that up, I am doing a jersey giveaway. If you, by some miracle, get all 16 teams that will be in the round of 16 correctly, meaning everybody that will make it out of group stage, I will give you a jersey of your choice. Now, I know that this is pretty challenging. Any other jersey giveaway that I've done would be like in the Champions League, whenever you have to decide the 8 winners or the 4 winners or something like that. This is definitely the most challenging, but if you're up for the challenge, go down in the comments and let me know the 16 winners. And again, if you get it correctly, you win a jersey of your choice. But without further ado, let's get started with Group A. Let's go. Group A, you got Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, and Netherlands. Right off the bat, I'm gonna go for 4th with Qatar. I haven't seen them at all, other than whenever they were invited to the Gold Cup, where they had to pay people who weren't even from Qatar to pretend to be Qatar fans. It was pretty funny, but just right off the bat, 4th place for Qatar. Now, Netherlands here, on paper, they look like the much better team. They're 1st in their Nations League. They got talent all around the pitch, especially in their defense. They've got Ake, Van Dijk, De Ligt, Dumfries. And then in the midfield, they got De Jong, De Vroom, Wijnaldum. In attack, Depay and Luke De Jong. So, on paper, individually, they look like a great squad and possibly a tad ahead the other competitors in this same group. So I am going to put Netherlands as 1st place, seeing as they are displaying pretty good football in the recent matches. So it's all up to Ecuador and Senegal, who can finish 2nd and who's going to finish 3rd and get knocked out. Ecuador have been overachieving what is expected of them in the qualifiers for the CONMEBOL. Most of the time they were 3rd place, right behind Brazil and Argentina. Individually, they got a great squad, great set of players. Stupinian from Villarreal, Plata as a winger, Caicedo, Ibarra, great talent all around, and they are somewhat of a dark horse. They're one of the 2 or 3 teams that could surprise, but they're suffering the same fate that Peru did in 2018. A great team that is overachieving. They get their chance to show what they can do in the World Cup, and they get put in a really challenging group. That's where Ecuador is. That's where Peru were in 2018. I really want Ecuador to make it through, but on the other side, you got Senegal, the African champions, with players like Mendy, Mane, Koulibaly, and this is a team that in the last 17 games, they've only lost once. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be between Ecuador and Senegal to see who battles for 2nd. I think Netherlands will finish 1st. I'm going for Netherlands 2nd, Ecuador finish 3rd, and then Qatar 4th. Moving on to Group B, let's do it quickly. This is actually one of the toughest groups. In my notes, whenever I was writing down everything to prepare for this video, I literally went back and forth about this whole thing. You got England, USA, Wales, and Iran. Iran, just like Qatar, I don't know much about them. I don't watch them play. I'm gonna assume that they're gonna finish 4th. Now, it's up to England, Wales, or the US to see where they finish in the top 3. Look, let's talk about England. On paper, they actually remind me a lot of Man United. On paper, they have talent all over the pitch. They are blessed with so much individual greatness, not even in just one position in the pitch, just all around. But they don't have the right manager to pull it all together. Yes, it is true that Southgate has led this team to 2 great campaigns in the World Cup 2018 and in the last Euros where they made the final. But nowadays, England are just not that same England. A lot of people actually want Southgate out. And sacking a manager right before the World Cup, I mean, we're only 150 days away. It can be costly. I don't think that they're going to do it. I think they have 2 more games to prepare for the World Cup, but despite what happens in those games, I don't think they would sack Southgate. I think the risk of doing that is way too hugely. They're just going to stick with him despite what happens. Now, given this, I think if England had been put together with another top team, kind of like what happened with Spain and Germany, 2 great nations that could compete and make it really far, I think they would have had a lot of trouble and made it 2nd or 3rd place. But because the competition that they're facing, it's USA and Wales, no disrespect to them, I think they're great and we'll talk about them soon. I think England can do just enough to finish 1st place. I do think they will top the group, and that leads us to Wales or the US. Wales did not impress me in their qualifying group against Ukraine, while on the other hand, you got USA, who haven't done exceptionally well in the qualifying. USA do have the individual talent to beat Wales and finish 2nd place. I think they lack a poacher, a finisher, somebody who can put away those chances, because individually they do got the players, and I think players like Weah, players like Pulisic, McKennie can have a great World Cup, and I think they can shine. Given that most of these players missed out on the 2018 World Cup because they didn't qualify, they're gonna want to put it all out there. And looking at Wales, I don't think they will compete as much as some people might expect them to. So after all, I'm going to put England first. Second, I'm going to go for USA. Third, Wales. And fourth, Iran. But we're just going to move on to Group C. Argentina, Mexico, Poland, and Saudi Arabia. I don't want to spend too much talking about this because it's something that you guys know already. Argentina are favorites to top the group. I'm not going to talk about whether or not they're favorites to win the whole competition because at the end of the day, this is a video about just the group stage. So I'm going to stop myself and I'm just going to mention the facts. We're 33 games unbeaten. The weight of we haven't won a title since 1993 is out of everybody's shoulders. And now, after winning these two titles, the Finalissima and the Copa America, Argentina play with no pressure. They play beautiful football. They got talent all around the pitch, players that are hungry for more success. Like I mentioned again, 33 games unbeaten and the possibility to make history. Now, I wouldn't say this group is easy, but I think it's an accessible and challenging group to get prepared for the later stages. I will put Argentina as first. I can't do anything else. I mean, even you can call me biased, but I don't think anybody who's not from Argentina will have them either getting knocked out or second place. No disrespect to anybody else, but I think Argentina will be first, winning all their games with 9 points. Saudi Arabia will be fourth, and then it's really up to Mexico and Poland. Speaking about Poland first, they got individual talent with the likes of Zielinski, Lewandowski, Szczesny as well. And then in the other side, you got Mexico, who usually put up a fight against bigger nations in the group stages and then always fall short in the round of 16. But this time, they haven't been displaying great football. They actually want their manager, Tata Martino, out of the job before the World Cup even starts. And like I said, with Southgate, you can't really sack a manager 5 months before the World Cup happens. It's just highly risky, and I don't know what will happen. I think Tata Martino is more likely to get sacked in Mexico than Southgate is in England. But whatever happens, I think their morale is just not there, and they're also not showing great displays of football either. They just lost to Uruguay 3-0. Uruguay are on their way up after sacking their manager. They play better football. They're a side to be taken seriously. They lost 3-0. They didn't show it there in a friendly. I don't know if they'll be able to show it against Poland. I think Argentina will win all their games. I think Saudi Arabia will lose all of them. It's really going to come down to the game against Poland and Mexico, which actually happens to be their first game. It's really 50-50, but I'm going to go for Poland just because they got more individual talent and also because Mexico's problems within the locker room and not entirely sure what their situation is going to look like. I think this might be a little bit unpopular. Most people will have Mexico advancing, but I will have Poland second place with Argentina first. Moving on to Group D. In Group D, we've got Denmark, France, Tunisia, and Australia. Tunisia, I'm going to go just like I've gone with Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar. I don't know much about them. I don't watch them. I don't know their individual players either. So they're going to go fourth. And Australia, I've only seen a few games. In specific, that game against Peru to qualify to the World Cup. They didn't surprise me there. They won in penalties against a Peru that was playing very poorly, especially in the first half. They qualified in penalties, but I don't think they're playing good football. Especially when you're going up against France and Denmark. You got to be a step ahead. I think Australia will finish third. So it's really between Denmark and France. France have the best squad depth in the whole world. You look at their starting 11, amazing. They could play their B team and still challenge for the title, for the World Cup. We say that very lightly, but that's incredible. Heck, one could even come up with the argument that their C team is good enough to make it to the late stages of the World Cup. Do you understand how incredible this is? Despite this, we do gotta mention a couple things. They are not playing good in the Nations League, but we should also bring up the World Cup curse. Italy won the World Cup in 2006, and then in 2010, they didn't make it past the group stage. Same thing happened with Spain in 2010. They won the World Cup in 2014. They didn't make it past the group stage. Same thing with Germany, who looked to even challenge in 2018. Got knocked out in group stage. Now, will the same thing happen to France? They won in 2018. What will happen in group stage? I don't actually think they're going to get knocked out. Like I said, Australia third, Tunisia fourth. I think Denmark, as the dark horses, will put up a fight and actually finish first place. Denmark were the dark horses in the Euros. They put up a fight and they made it all the way to the semifinals up until they had to face England and they lost to a questionable penalty, to say the least. They've got the talent. Eriksen, Kjaer from Milan, Holberg, their goalkeeper Schmeichel, of course. They've got the talent to surprise and be one of the 2 or 3 dark horses within the tournament. And I think, surprisingly, they will top the group, putting France second, Australia third, Tunisia fourth. Moving on to the next group, you got Germany, Spain, Japan, and Costa Rica. I'm going to get the 2 out of the way. I think Costa Rica will finish third. We have seen them already put up a fight against bigger nations and actually surprise everybody in the group of death in 2014, if you guys remember. But I don't think they'll have just enough to beat the likes of Spain and Germany. Again, it is the World Cup, so anything could happen. But Costa Rica will finish third. Japan goes down to 4th, and then it's up to Germany and Spain. This is actually one of the most interesting groups. Between the two, they're similar. They got great squad depth. Let's talk about Germany first. Ever since they lost to England in the Euros, Flick took over them, and they've been unbeaten ever since with 13 games. Along with France, I think they're the second best team in the world when it comes to squad depth. They've got talent all around. They got a lot of experienced players that know this stage of football. While on the other side, you have Spain, who do have some experienced players that have played many World Cups, but then you also have players who are playing their first World Cup ever. Players like Gavi, players like Ansu Fati, Pedri, and maybe the lack of experience is what will take down the Spain side to 2nd place. I do think Luis Enrique is doing a pretty good job so far as a manager, but I think Flick will take Germany to 1st place. All in all, Germany will top the group, Spain will go down to 2nd, Costa Rica and Japan, they're interchangeable, but I'm going to put Costa Rica 3rd place, Japan 4th. Next group, you actually got the one that I had the most trouble with along with England's group. You've got Croatia, Morocco, Belgium, and Canada. As usual, I'm going to get the 4th place out of the way. Morocco is going to be 4th place just because I don't know much about them, and I do want to talk about the other 3. Canada surprised everybody by finishing 1st in CONCACAF, something that hasn't happened in a long time, and actually this is their first World Cup ever since 1986, which actually happens to be when Argentina won. On the other side, you got Croatia, who despite people's perception don't have that much of an aging squad. This is the team that made it to the 2018 World Cup final. We gotta put some respect on their name. And then you got Belgium, who are getting the results, but their attack has been questionable. Now, individually, their players always actually perform for Belgium. You got players like De Bruyne, Hazard, Courtois, 2 of these players who had one of the best campaigns in their whole entire career. Then you got Lukaku, who knows where he's gonna be whenever November comes around. Will he be at Chelsea? Will he be at Inter? Will he be crying back to that he wants to go back to Chelsea? I don't know, but whatever happens, this is the part where I'm gonna go unpopular. I'm gonna say that Croatia topped the group, Canada finished 2nd, and then Belgium, the team that is mostly expected to finish 1st, I think will get knocked out in the group stage. Now, before we start disliking the video and everything, I gotta go unpopular eventually, and Belgium doesn't exactly convinced me 100% that we'll top the group, especially because Canada and Croatia should not be taken lightly at all. Croatia will top the group, Canada will finish 2nd, Belgium 3rd. It's the World Cup. Not every favorite, not every top nation is just gonna advance. Okay, some people will miss out, and if I had to put a pin in it, I think Belgium will finish 3rd. I know I'm going unpopular, but it is what it is. Next up, we got Group G. This is the one that I'm going to spend the least amount of time in. You got Serbia, Switzerland, Cameroon, and Brazil. Gonna get it out of the way. As much as I hate this, Brazil will top the group with 9 points unless something crazy happens. Maybe if their whole squad gets injured. And even then, I think their B team can still clutch the group. I think they will win with 9 points. Cameroon, I don't know much about them. I'm sorry, I don't watch enough African football. They will finish 4th. And then Serbia and Switzerland. I think it's pretty 50-50, but individually, Serbia might have better talent. I think an attack in midfield, including Tadic, Vlahovic's first World Cup, and Mitrovic, who had a great campaign in the championship. I think them 3 can cook something up against Switzerland and actually finish 2nd place. So yes, Brazil will top the group with 9 points. Serbia will make it 2nd place. Switzerland will be 3rd, and Cameroon will get knocked out at 4th place. And last but not least, we got Portugal, Ghana, South Korea, and Uruguay in Group H, the last group of the World Cup. I'm gonna go straight up and say Portugal will top the group. They got enough squad depth and enough individual talent in the pitch to top the group. Then Uruguay, if you had asked me like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago if they would have made it further in the World Cup, I would have actually questioned whether or not they will make it to the World Cup, because in the World Cup qualifying in CONMEBOL, they weren't playing great football. They actually looked like they weren't going to qualify to the World Cup at all. Then they changed managers to a manager that hasn't been proven. He used to be the manager for Inter Miami, Diego Alonso, and ever since he took over, they got the points necessary to qualify to the World Cup. They've been unbeaten for the last 7 games. And you got to keep in mind, a lot of these players have enough experience in the biggest stage of football, the World Cup. And this is going to be their last time playing for Uruguay, playing in a major tournament. Players like Cavani and Suarez. Again, if you would have asked me this months ago, I would have said Uruguay's not going to make the World Cup. But things have changed. I think they will finish 2nd place. South Korea will be carried by Son, but not enough. And they will be 3rd place, and Ghana will try to get revenge for Suarez's handball, but nothing will matter because at the end of the day, they will finish 4th place. So these are the 16 teams that are going to make the round of 16. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my picks, and remember to let me know the 16 teams that you think are going to qualify, and if you somehow get all 16 correctly, pretty big challenge right there, I will give you a jersey of your choice. But that is all for me. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel because we are racing to 5,000 subscribers, which would be an amazing milestone. So please help me out right there. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care and cheers.